This is the Only Fools and Horses Christmas special with me, Chris Watts, and Emily. How's it going, Emily? Merry Christmas.
Hello and Merry Christmas. Yeah,
So let's see your jumper. I've got my jumper on.
that's my jump.
I love
Yeah.
that one. I think yours is better than mine, actually, but I shouldn't have said that, really, because I got it for Christmas. But this is my one. Yeah, have yourself a
That's
cushy
awesome though.
Christmas. It's nice as well. Yeah, I think it's good.
Got Del Boy in it.
Yeah, that's the main thing. So we're
Yeah.
talking about the Christmas specials today. What are some of your favourites?
My one is where Grandad leaves the giblets in the turkey, and Ronnie goes, Del Boy's looking in, and he's like, "Oh, the sage and onion," and then Ronnie goes, "There's stuff in there as well," and then pulls a face. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, he did so many culinary disasters, didn't he, Grandad?
yeah. Cook anything, could he? Could burn anything.
I burnt your pizza.
Yeah. Oh boy, I burnt your bacon.
Yeah, Grandad was great, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And that's a very
Um,
Christmassy episode, isn't it? Because they get the Christmas card as well, don't they?
yeah. From
Shirley, Shane, and Sean, is it?
yeah, Brenda and Terry,
Brenda and Terry. Yeah, that's it,
Shirley,
yeah.
Shane, and Sean.
But it's quite funny because in my house, we do always get a Christmas card every year, and they don't live here anymore. It's really bizarre, to be honest.
That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah,
Um, so Grandad also says about the cards because it's from the drug abuse centre, aren't they, or charity or something?
the Drug Addiction Centre, that's it,
Yeah.
yeah.
And Grandad thinks they're recruiting druggies, but they're not. They're trying to help the ones that are around.
Yeah, that's a really funny line, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, where he says about instead of recruiting them. Yeah, so funny. That's probably one of the most Christmassy episodes, isn't it? I think it's Christmas Crackers.
Yeah. Like you said, that's the most Christmassy one there is, because the other ones isn't. I think that one you see more of the flat than you do anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, there's Thicker Than Water, which takes place mostly in the flat, doesn't it?
Yeah.
This is where Del Boy and Rodney's dad Reg comes back to the flat after all these years, and I really love that episode because there's so many mentions of Christmas. Del
Mm.
Boy's like the ghost of Christmas past, isn't he?
Yeah.
And of course, he's got this hereditary blood disorder, and he makes out that Del and Rodney have got it as well. But then, of course, it turns out that it's all a lie. It's been a con all along. And yeah, it was very bad from Reg to do that, wasn't it?
It was. I love and hate that episode. I love it because obviously you see their dad from the real side. But I also feel sorry for Del Boy in that episode.
Yeah. And of course, Del doesn't want to tell the doctor about it to find out the blood test results because then he'd think bad of his mother as well.
Yeah.
So it was crafty, wasn't it, from Reg? Really crafty.
Yeah, he's very crafty, but you can sort of see where Del Boy gets his craftiness from, in a way,
Mm.
because of what he's like in certain stuff. So,
But of course, with Del, very much the family man, isn't he? That's where it was. Their characters are very different in
yeah,
that respect.
yeah, they are, because Del Boy gave up everything for Rodney. Because in the later ones, when on about engagement and stuff and why Del never got married, it's because no one wanted to take on Rodney, and he didn't want to leave Rodney behind,
Yeah,
which you got to respect him for.
that's probably why the show is loved so much. I think the relationship between Del and Rodney, they love each other, don't they? I mean,
Yeah.
of course, they argue with each other, they have a go at each other, but at the end of the day, they do love each other.
What siblings don't? I argue with mine.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah.
another thing. It's like real life, isn't it? It's very
Yeah.
close. And Yeah, those later episodes that you were talking about, I think of Sleepless in Peckham, where it's revealed that Rodney is Freddie the Frog's son. Yeah, that's a very emotional scene. And also, you were talking about their relationship. You have to think of the episode where Rodney gets married, obviously, holding back the years.
Oh, that makes me cry every time.
Yeah. It's when Del Boy looks at Rodney, isn't it? And Rodney looks back at Del Boy, and they sort of have that split second, don't they?
Yeah, every time I hear that song, it makes me cry because it's sort of like if it was his mum or dad, that's how you look at your child when they get married, in a way. Because you're proud of them. So Del Boy is his mum and dad, in a way.
Yeah, and I remember talking to Jeff Stevenson. Do you remember that? That was ages ago. That was one of our first ones we did. And
Oh,
apparently they played Holding Back the Years at the dress rehearsal on a cassette player back then. And
wow.
apparently everybody was in tears. He said that's how powerful that scene was. And that was just the rehearsal,
Wow.
Just shows you, doesn't it?
There's been a few scenes like that where the studio's been dead quiet because it's been that powerful. But yeah, that's why Our Fools and Horses is good. Did you know that David Jason's actually a bar humbug?
Is he really? He doesn't like Christmas.
No,
But
I
he
was
got the
reading that.
Christmas jumpers on and everything.
I know. Um, I was reading that 12 Days of Christmas with Del Boy, whatever that book. Yeah, because he's always filming around Christmas. He doesn't like Christmas. He
Wow.
doesn't.
You wouldn't think that, would you?
Think, yeah, he don't like it. His wife calls him Scrooge. He don't like big crowds and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
And back to the episodes, of course, we have to talk about Uncle Albert mixing up Maxwell House with gravy. I mean, that is such a classic comedy scene, isn't it?
That's Time on Our Hands, isn't it?
Yeah, the original
Yeah.
last episode.
Mm. That scene, that episode has a lot of funny moments, isn't it? In it, with the lift breaking down and who was it? Denzel and Mickey Pierce, was it?
Yeah.
Having to carry that gigantic table up all them floors. I don't know how many there is, but it's a lot of floors.
Yeah. Denzel's like, where is he? Yeah.
The bloody lift's broke again. Yeah.
Yeah. But of course, it's because, isn't it because Del and Rodney are in the lift? Because he stops the lift.
He does. He stops it.
And that's one of the saddest scenes in Fools and Horses, isn't it?
Oh, it's a very powerful scene, and that's another episode where the whole studio was quiet. You can hear a pin drop because it was that powerful. And I don't know if you know this, but they wasn't allowed to rehearse it that much because John Sullivan wanted it to be as powerful as possible.
Oh, right, and raw, I guess, and real.
Yeah, he didn't want it over rehearsed. So yeah.
Yeah, of course, this is where Cassandra has the miscarriage. Del Boy stops the lift, and you can't run away in a broken lift. I mean, brilliant, isn't it?
Shall I play I Spy?
Yeah, W.
Yeah,
that's the game over then.
yeah.
Walls.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And then when Rodney's reading something out, and obviously we don't hear the full sentence because it just goes, Rodney is ... Because they're reading the notes on the lift, aren't
they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Rodney Trotter what? The lying git.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Brilliant.
And that's when we first meet Raquel's mum and dad, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, because he's the guy that finds out what the lesser watch is, doesn't he? He finds this in Del Boy's lockup, and it's on an old stove. Rodney's about to get the WD-40, isn't he? And then Raquel's dad says, I've always been interested in horology, doesn't he? And Del Boy's like, oh, I thought it was too good to be true. And he thinks it's horoscopes, doesn't he? He doesn't think it's to do with watches. And yeah, I mean, it's one of my favourite episodes. I love Time on Our Hands. It
makes you laugh, it makes you cry, and it makes you cry happy tears when obviously to find out the watch is worth millions, and they become millionaires.
Yeah, and of course they faint, don't they? Del Boy faints, and then Rodney faints. It's the other way around, actually. Yeah, I think Rodney faints.
When they get in the van and
yeah,
they're like, "Do you want to go first? Let's do it together." And they just stop and like the van just shakes because they're so excited.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah,
and of course, I love the end scene at the pub as well. I really love that. You know, when he turns up in his Rolls Royce, and of course, the scene you love, and I love it as well. But you've spoken about it before, is when Rodney buys the Rolls Royce for Del Boy.
Yeah.
From Boise. I mean, the way he does that is brilliant, isn't it?
Starts laughing when Susie reads it. The laugh's gone.
Yeah. I mean, I often wondered why he did buy it from Boise, but I suppose it's sort of to rub his nose in it, isn't it?
Yeah, because he's very big-headed, isn't he? And is it he?
He always boasts about his money, doesn't he? Basically.
Yeah. Oh, we can only have 2 lamb chops this week, or whatever it was that he said.
Yeah, smoked salmon, wasn't it? And like, I can't afford to heat my swimming pool and things like that. He says, doesn't he? Very all about money.
Yep. That's what it was all about, wasn't it? It was money.
That's probably my favourite Christmas episode, actually. Time in Our Hands, I would say. What about you?
Yeah, I think that one is. I think that one and A Christmas Cracker, them 2 are more. I think the first one, Christmas Cracker, is more funny in a way, whereas A Time on Our Hands it shows every emotion.
Yeah. It's not completely all out comedy, is it? Because you've got really sad moments, obviously, with Rodney in the lift. You've got really emotional moments when they find out how much the watch is going to be worth. And you have got gags as well. You've got the mixing up the gravy, Uncle Albert. But you're right, there's more to it, I think, than Christmas Cracker.
There is, because obviously with that one, it shows that even though you might be going through something heartbreaking, it's okay to feel about stuff, because in that generation men were told to man up, so it shows that it's okay for men to cry. Because it's okay, everyone cries.
And also Del, because if you think of Del Boy, then he's got a certain macho image, isn't he? Or he thinks he has. He thinks he is a tough guy, really. He was, particularly in the older episodes. And you do think of that scene with Grandad, don't you? Where he passes away. And obviously, Del says that he's always had to play the tough guy. He didn't want to, but he had to.
He did to protect Rodney and Grandad. He had to be that person, because if he wasn't strong, then Rodney will fall behind. And then Grandad, he's the man of the house, isn't he? He has to play that.
Yeah, and he says, with Grandad, he says, I haven't even started to get over it yet, because Rodney's like, it was Grandad, you know, how could you get over it so easily? And that's such a great scene, isn't it? That
it is, and John Sullivan was a really good writer to be able to show emotion and then make you laugh like seconds after.
We've said before, haven't we, that that's what makes the show, really. It's not just all out comedy.
No, it shows that things happen in real life, and not everyone's life is easy, is it? Not everyone has an easy time, do they?
I think the actor who played Cousin Stan, was it? We spoke to him ages ago, didn't we? I can't remember his name now.
I can't remember his name.
He was in Strange Relations, and he summed it up the best, I think. He said, it's pathos, only fools and horses. That ability to make you laugh and then to make you cry. You're one spectrum to the other. And he said it's the ability of being able to laugh about something, even if it's a terrible situation.
Yeah.
You know?
Because you can't let things get you down in a way, can you? You gotta try and
get through it.
Stuff. And laughter is the best medicine.
Definitely, and we get lots of that at Christmas, don't we? How
Yes.
much do you watch Only Fools and Horses at Christmas?
The last couple of years I haven't, because I've always worked Christmas up until my heart got bad about 3 years ago, 4 years ago. So during Christmas, when I was working, I never watched it because I didn't have time. But now I tend to watch it on Christmas Eve because Christmas Day is always busy.
On Gold, or do you watch the DVDs?
DVDs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't watch any last year, because a year today my mother-in-law died, so we didn't watch any. But yeah, can't beat Only Fools and Horses at Christmas.
No, I think last year I didn't watch it as much as I normally would, actually. I watched Time on Our Hands on Christmas Day, and that was good. All the family were watching it. And yeah, I mean, you can't beat it really at Christmas. It's the best.
No. I used to love, when I was younger, when I was about 9, 10, I used to get the TV guide and I used to plan what we was watching on Gold. And it always started off as Only Fools and Horses, and then it goes to like Vicar of Dibley, The Royal Family, and all that stuff we used to watch on Christmas. No one was allowed to talk.
Just laugh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a shame it's not like that anymore, isn't it, really? I mean, there's not much I look forward to that's coming out at Christmas, if I'm honest. I know I'm kind of Back to the Future in that respect, but
I don't watch all the new like Christmas stuff that come out on Christmas isn't as funny and it's not as Christmassy.
No.
Whereas I can watch any Only Fools and Horses Christmas and I feel it just feels like Christmas.
Yeah. Or even if they're not Christmas episodes, I can still watch them and think it's Christmas. It's weird, isn't it? But I suppose they're always on at Christmas, aren't they?
I think what helps, especially in the Christmas bracket, is the really outdated decorations. Whereas I had that growing up. I had the golden and red things on the ceilings and stuff like that. So it reminds me of my childhood.
Yeah, they always had really funny Christmas decorations as well, didn't they? Like, didn't they have a white Christmas tree one year, a silver Christmas tree? It was never like an ordinary Christmas tree. It was funny.
I swear they bought a new Christmas tree every year. Reminds me of life when Rodney's got the party blower.
Yeah.
And that's what they call it.
Boring. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he sets it off and Dale goes, "Excuse me," because he thought it was him that made them.
Yeah.
Like circuses.
Yeah, it turned over and it's another circus, isn't it? Yeah.
And they're arguing about not going out because Rodney wants to go out. And Del Boy's like, "We're not leaving Grandad on his own. We'll leave with Grandad every night. Not on Christmas." And then he just walks past. "See you later, I'm off out."
Yeah, I'm not spending Christmas with you, Sue. Brilliant. Yeah. And a funny episode, well, I say funny episode, but a bit of a different episode was Fatal Extraction. This was with the stalker, wasn't it? Who works at the dentist. And Dale asks her out for a date and she keeps popping up everywhere he goes. So, different episode, isn't it?
She was everywhere. Like, yeah, at the bus stop, in the market, Christmas Carol at the end.
Yeah, that was very Christmassy at the end.
Yeah.
The Christmas tree and the carol singers. But, of course, doesn't she swap the answer phone machine for a high chair or something like that?
And then Del Boy's voicemails on there, isn't it?
Yeah, cancelling the date. And yeah, brilliant.
And you hear Raquel shouting at him and throwing glasses at him.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Not Christmas unless you argue.
Yeah, it's a different episode, isn't it? I think it's kind of based on that film, Fatal Attraction. I don't know if you've ever seen this.
I haven't.
But basically, it's very similar. He has although Del doesn't have an affair, but he has an affair, and then this woman, he ends it, and this woman goes completely crazy, like she wants to kill him. It's like that.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of a thriller. Yeah, it's an old film now. I think Michael Douglas is in it years ago. It's like from the 80s or something, but it's not a bad film. I was just trying to think though. There are other episodes that happened at Christmas. We think, like a royal flush. That's another one. Not very Christmassy. Very
No.
different, wasn't it? In the country. Um,
Darwin's Arthur Heather came up as well as a Christmas one.
yeah, yeah.
At the
This is
end,
where he sort of adopts this kid, doesn't he? And
yeah,
he wants to play the role of the dad, and he does for a while, doesn't he? And then it's a sad ending, isn't it? Because she's like, I thought of you more as a brother. So yeah,
yeah. It's a bit heartbreaking for Dell, isn't it? Because he thought, oh, I've got a ready-made family, like in a way. Because but then it is sad, but it's nice to see Delboy in the family environment with a kid and doing stuff that father and sons do. So obviously he never had that, did he? But then at the end, she goes back to her ex, doesn't she?
yeah. I mean, he must have had that with Rodney, I expect, because he was like like he says, he was like a mother and father to him.
It was. Especially the way he goes through shoes.
Yeah,
Instead, doesn't he?
I like the bit where he says, "Used to wipe your tears away."
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah. I don't know what else is a Christmas one.
What about the riot one? Was that? I think that was out at Christmas, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. And Strangers on the Shore, that come up as a Christmas one.
Oh, that's brilliant, isn't it? That's the Gary episode, isn't it? Gary?
Yeah, ain't that the one? Which one?
Yeah, that's the Gary episode, Strangers on the Shore. It's the second to last episode.
Yeah.
That's
I
brilliant.
haven't watched that one much, to be honest. It's not my favourite, but I like Gary in it.
Gary, yeah.
I started talking to a guy ages and ages ago when I was working in Blackpool, and his name was Gary, and all I heard for weeks was Gary. Every time I went into the kitchen, that's all I heard.
Oh, I love it because we spoke to Nabil, didn't we? That was great. That was quite a while ago now, but
Yeah, that
I
was.
do love it. I love the episode. Honestly, it's one of my. It's definitely my favourite of the newer three. The last three, I thought it was the funniest, in my opinion, because obviously that whole scenario, just that one scenario of an illegal immigrant being in the Trotter flat, it's just everything about it is so funny. And
Although walking in and smell like smiling.
And when Del cooks him a curry, that's hilarious, isn't it? And apparently he gets that all the time when he's out and about. People always shout Gary to him, so it just shows you the power of the show, doesn't it?
Yeah, because I don't know when it came out, but it's been out quite a while, hasn't it? And yeah,
after all these years. And I like the bit where they're sort of interrogating him before they take him to the flat. Denzel, Del, and Rodney, and Denzel's like he might be from Al Qaeda, and then Del was like, does he look like he works at a furniture store?
Typical Del. Doesn't Boise stay over and put onion paste, like, doesn't he put like onion in his hair or something?
Yeah, Del's put he's put like onion. All he could smell is onions, isn't it, Boise? And he's like, you smell onions? And then they don't tell him, do they? It's just so funny.
Oh.
But I suppose the last episode must have been out near Christmas as well, Sleepless in Peckham.
It must have been, because
I think, because the last three, they released them every year, didn't they? I think the last three.
Yeah, I think so. I'm just Googling.
Yeah, it's hard to remember now.
There's that many.
But I love that episode. That's a very emotional episode, isn't it? Sleepless in Peckham. And I know a lot of people said it should have ended Time on Our Hands. That's another podcast. We'll do that one day. Should it have ended or should it have continued? We will do that one day. But I love the last three as well. So it's sort of like, I get it from both sides, if I'm honest.
The Sleepless in Peckham is where Rodney and Cassandra have a little girl, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's lovely because they had a miscarriage, didn't they? So
Yeah,
that's the part of the story that's resolved.
because they name her after the mom, don't they? They name her Joan.
Yeah, and at the end, of course, they're at the graveyard, aren't they?
Yeah.
And that's a lovely scene. Yeah,
That makes me cry as well when Rodney says, "Am I like him?" And Dell's like, "No, you might look like him, but you're not him."
yeah, nothing like him. Yeah, I
Mhm.
do love that scene. Yeah, brilliant.
But it goes to show that you don't have to be like your parents. You can be your own person. You don't have to take after either one of them.
No,
Yes.
and it's obviously who you're brought up by, isn't it? And
Yeah,
how you're raised.
yeah.
Yeah, the
Del
only
did a good job.
the only similarities were his love of art and his
Yeah,
height. Really, there wasn't nothing
that's
else.
literally. Oh, and his classical music.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Because I don't know if you've seen Rock and Chips.
yeah. I
Um,
remember.
yeah. 'Cause
I
there
only
was some.
saw it once though. I need to watch it again because it's been a long time. So I forgot they went to Margate in an episode. I totally forgot about that, but apparently they did. Um,
Yeah, they went. It was one of the old Jolly Boys outing. Yeah,
yeah,
because you got Slater on pills in background. He was there like dancing like this because he's on pills. Because he thought he was.
I don't remember that. No, the only thing I really remember was in one of those episodes where the young Del boy, played by the guy out of the in between, is it James Buckley? That's his
Yeah,
name.
that is,
Yeah.
yeah.
He sells these carpets at the end or something, and what's funny about the carpets, I can't remember now.
The blue and the trip the lights and you get a static shock every time you touch it, or if you go near a light switch, you get a shock.
Brilliant.
I don't know what else is Christmas. When in the first one and they're in the nightclub and
Yeah.
yeah, they're trying to pull two girls. And Del Boy's moaning that he stood up for too long.
Is this the one where they take their seats? Is that the one you're thinking of?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because they think that they're going to go with them, but no, they were just after their seats.
So Del goes, "Are you going?"
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going. Rodney, seats are here. Or something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of great episodes at Christmas.
There's so many.
Last year, I got an Only Fools and Horses Monopoly board. I still haven't played it, so I'm hoping this year to play it. Hopefully.
You have to let me know because I want to buy that.
Well, I love that there's, what you normally get, like an iron and all these different pieces. There's actually a trotter van that you can. There's different things to do with Only Fools and Horses that are in there, so I think that's really good.
That is really good.
Might play Trivial Pursuit as well, potentially. That's
Mhm.
kind of Only Fools and Horses related, isn't it, with the Jolly Boys outing?
Yeah, because that wasn't at Christmas, was it?
No, I don't think the Jolly Boys outing was at Christmas. Not 100% sure, but it's not very Christmassy episode.
It isn't. It was only, like I said, the later ones aren't that Christmassy, so it's hard to
remember, yeah,
remember
unless you
which one's Christmassy.
really delve into it. Sometimes we do if we get enough time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that. Obviously, the Trivial Pursuit in Jolly Boys outing, that's brilliant, isn't it? With the swan and what's the female swan called? And it's just classic. A bit, yeah. Because he's playing with his pen, isn't he? He's like,
yeah, both got yeah.
Funny.
There's another one I'm thinking of on this in my head.
Batman and Robin, was that out near Christmas, that one? That must have been near Christmas, I think.
I think it will. I'll have a look.
Because the last three, there was Modern Men, there was the Batman and Robin one, Heroes and Villains, and then there was Time on Our Hands. I think they were all around Christmas time, 1 year. I think it was only the last three that they did that were out every year. But Batman and Robin, that's one of the best ones, isn't it?
Yeah,
Easily
Heroes and
cracks me up.
Villains is the 13th Christmas special episode for Only Fools and Horses.
Yeah.
Because that broadcasted in 1996 with 21.3 million watching.
Wow. As we always say, you'd never get figures like that today for live
No.
television. Right?
No.
And yeah, you love that episode too, don't you? I mean, Heroes and Villains, it's classic. I love it.
It just, there's too many points in it that are too funny. With Trigger in a normal suit, I feel stupid and all, but he's in a black suit, he fits in. Whereas Del Boy and Rodney are in Batman and Robin.
Yeah. I came as a chauffeur.
Yeah.
So, when he says to Del Boy, doesn't he? You don't look a thing like Tonto, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And he always thinks he's right, doesn't he? That's what makes Trigger so funny.
Trigger is very funny. Like, his character is just too comical. You don't have to say anything really for him to be funny. Like his facial expressions and stuff.
Yeah, like with the bar scene. If Trigger wasn't there, it wouldn't have. It was funny, but it wouldn't have been as funny. He amplifies it. He makes it better. And that's going to be our next podcast. After this one, Chris is going to join us, and we're going to discuss Trigger's best moments. So that'll be a good one.
Yeah, he messaged me about that one because there was one that he forgot about, which I thought was quite rare.
Yeah, it is rare from Chris.
Where is it?
But yeah, with Trigger, there's so many moments, isn't there? I know you like the one with the baby, didn't you? What are they going to call the baby?
Oh, yeah.
After Dave. Yeah. That's so good.
There was two that I found that Chris didn't mention, and that was the Frog's Legacy, where Trigger tells Del and Boise that his sister, think of it as his sister or someone, put up the gift that Del got on display, and Boise didn't know they swapped. So yeah. There's that one.
There's so many, isn't there? Even in some of the earlier episodes. Remember when it's his granddad's funeral and he's saying about golden beaches, and then Rodney's like, "Oh, that sounds great, Trig. Where are you going?" And he's like, "Ireland." It's funny. Although apparently people always say from Ireland. That's true. There are places like that in Ireland, but you wouldn't think that.
You wouldn't, would you?
No.
Yeah, because the island, you assume it's like rainy and
grass and
yeah.
But yeah, that would be a really good one, wouldn't it? When we discuss Trigger. I mean, one of the best characters for sure. Definitely
is. Definitely. Are you going to be watching the documentary on Christmas Day?
I hope to be, yeah. If not, I'll definitely watch it afterwards. I'm with my wife's family this year, so they're not as into it as me, unfortunately. But there you go. What can you do?
From my family, it's fine. It's just me.
Yeah, my family love it, but yeah. But I will watch it at some point. So it's on Christmas Day. What channel is it? Channel 5?
I think so. I'll just Google that.
And it's a documentary, isn't it? Some people have commented, they're like, is it an episode or is it a documentary? But it's a documentary, isn't it?
It is, yeah, because David Jason's talking about the best bits.
Is it also Sue Holderness, Marlene? Is she in it?
I think so. I don't know if Nick's in it or not.
Yeah, that'd be good if Nick is. I saw he was in Frasier recently, wasn't he?
Yeah, there's a lot of rumours going around that David Jason and Nick fell out, but they haven't. There's a lot of rumours going around about it.
I know Nick was on screen for a very long time because of his son passing away. That was the reason, wasn't it?
It won't affect anybody, but especially if you're in the public eye, you can't go anywhere, can you? It's always going to be. It's on Christmas Eve, Channel 5.
Oh, Christmas Eve. Oh,
yeah, brilliant. And it is a documentary.
Great, we'll have to watch that. Hopefully one day we'll speak to Sir David. You never know. Fingers crossed.
You never know.
This time
Fingers
next
crossed.
year, maybe. Yeah.
This time next year. You never know. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was gonna say something. I forgot.
What would you ask him if we ever interviewed Sir David? What do you think? Would you have to think of a question?
I think I'd have
Put you
to
on the
think
spot.
of questions so hard. Because it's not just that. It's not just, to me, it's not just Delboy. It's Granville and that guy from The Porridge. I can't remember his name in it.
Bob Larkin as
That's the
well.
one.
Yeah.
He's
From
been everything.
what's it called? Darling Buds of May. That was a
Yeah.
really good series. That was with Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yeah.
Remember? Yeah.
Touch of Frost. He was in that. It's been in everything, and it's hard to. I don't know what I'd ask him, to be honest with you.
Well, we've got time to think.
I'd ask
He
him
also
to sign
has
a
the
book.
voice of Danger Mouse, doesn't he?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was. But he's also done like musicals and stuff like that, hasn't he? He was in A Christmas Carol.
Oh yeah, done all sorts over the years.
That was the first Christmas thing he ever did, and it was on TV. I only know that because
I did see this one interview with him, and I reckon people must call him Delboy all the time, and he gets a bit annoyed with it because he was like, he got interviewed and he was like, "I'm not Delboy." he said, you know, but I can kind of get that, because I remember when we spoke to somebody else, and I can't remember who it was. It was one of the actors from the show, and he was saying about how Nicholas Lyndhurst always would get that wherever he'd go. It'd be like, "All right, Dave," you know. So I can imagine that if everybody you meet says that to you, it would get a bit annoying, wouldn't it? In fairness,
it would. I saw a post on one of the Owen Falls and Horses pages that I'm on. They saw Denzel in like a supermarket, and he or she went up and went, "You're right, Denzel," and he ignored them because, and they were saying that it was rude. So, oh no, he's not rude. You'd have gone to him by a character's name, not by his real name. So
yeah, it's better to call him by his Paul Barber. Yeah, you're right, Paul. Yeah,
but it just shows a bit of respect, doesn't it? In a way, I think. Like,
yeah, I mean, I can understand people getting carried away though. They see somebody they love from years and years ago, and then instantly they think of the character. They shout out the name. You know, it's hard to show self-control in that situation. I bet
it does, because I've only met one famous person. Yeah, it was James Arthur, a singer.
Oh, okay. X Factor, was it?
Yeah, he won X Factor. I've only met him, so.
The one, didn't he? Yeah. But was you all right with him? Did you say hello? What was it like?
I went to a concert in Winter Gardens. We didn't get tickets, but we managed to buy tickets on the door. So we went in, and it was January, freezing cold, and we waited outside for an hour, and I got a photo with him.
Oh, great.
We didn't get long. We said hello, blah blah blah, and that was it. But it was
well, at least you said hello. A lot of people, they get flustered, don't they? And they can't say anything. They're like,
that for me with David Jason. If you ever meet David Jason, I wouldn't talk. I'm dead shy.
I'd have to meet you. I'd be like, yeah, you got to ask some questions, yeah.
Starstruck.
Yeah. Well, have a very Merry Christmas.
And you too. Merry Christmas and all the best for the new year.
Yeah.
This time next year we'll be millionaires.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
By naming every single episode in chronological order and see how quick I can actually do it. So here goes. Big Brother. Go West Young Man. Cash and Curry. Second Time Around. A Slow Bus to Chingford. Russians Are Coming. Christmas Crackers. Long Legs of the Law. Ashes to Ashes. A Losing Streak. No Greater Love. The Yellow Peril. It Never Rains. A Touch of Glass. Diamonds Are for Heather. Homesick. Healthy Competition. Friday the 14th. Yesterday Never Comes. May the force be with you. Wanted. Who's a pretty boy? Thicker than water. Happy returns. Strained relations. Hole in one. It's only rock and roll. Sleeping dogs lie. Watching the girls go by. As one door closes. Hull to Hull and back. From Prussia with love. The Miracle of Peckham. The Longest Night. Tea for Three. Video Nasty. Who Wants a Millionaire? A Real Flush. Frog's Legacy. Dates. Yuppie Love. Danger UXD. Chain Gang. The Unlucky Winner Is. Sickness and Wealth. Little Problems. Jolly Boys Outing. Rodney Come Home. Sky's the Limit. Chance of a Lunchtime. Stage Fright. Class of 62. He Ain't Heavy, He's My Uncle. 3 Men, a Woman and a Baby. Miami Twice, The American Dream. Miami Twice, Oh to Be in England. Mother Nature's Son. Fatal Extraction. Heroes and Villains. Modern Men. Time on Our Hands. If They Could See Us Now. Strange on the Shore and Sleepless in Peckham. So not too bad there. I think I've named every episode there. I'm going to check before I post this, because if I've got one wrong, then it doesn't look so good. So I'm very proud of that. Some people will say sad. My family are proud, but then I was created by a germ warfare off the Deptford coast, but I'm still proud. I'd just like to say Happy Christmas and Happy New Year, and bonjour for now. Bye everyone.